What is going on, gamers? This is the Terriermon list I won locals with today. It's the same as all my other lists from recent uploads, so I just thought I'd put it all on the table. But I'm not going to go in depth about every card. I'm going to talk more about matchups and stuff like that. So for those wondering, it is the exact same list that Reese did very well with at the Oceanic Regionals. He placed second with this list, and I've been playing it ever since, and I think it is probably one of the best versions of the list I've seen around. I want to talk about some future iterations of the deck as well. You'll notice we're playing the structure deck Terriermon at 4, 1 Lopmon, 1 Memory Blocker Terriermon, and 8 of the Searching Terriermons. BT15 Terriermon decks have been playing none of those cards there, none of the Searching Terriermons at all, or the Lopmons. Instead, of course, they play Terriermon X Antibody, which gives piercing. Sensational. I agree. BT16, we're going to play that too. They keep this Terriermon, and they play the new BT17 Terriermon that has the same inheritable as this one, which is plus 1,000 when suspended, but it's also when it's played by an effect, or it sees a green Tamer or Terrier or Lop get played by an effect, you suspend one of your opponents. So you can actually double Typhoon, activate the delay of double Typhoon, play this new BT17 Terriermon off it, and it suspends something on the field, which is kind of cool. I just thought that was interesting because I think the 8 searches are sensational. And sometimes you pass turn playing these or double typhooning into these to try to find your Mega Gargo Ace because you've just finished on a bunch of Rapids and you have no boss card. Like, I can't imagine playing the deck without the searches. I don't know. I might need to ask Reese as well. Because the BT17 decks, I've asked people and they've said, oh, you draw by like triggering Willis and, you draw so much already, so you don't really need the Searcher Terriermons. And while I agree, like, obviously, the new Terriermon's great, I can't see myself cutting these ones. And maybe it's a little bit because I've got the high rarity versions of them that I don't want to not play them, but I do also think that they're just good. I understand we don't use the inheritables on them at all, and that's just a problem of the deck, but I think it's still super important to have consistency, and these cards really provide that consistency. But hey, what do I know? Maybe in BT16 and 17 I will change my mind. But as of right now, I really love the rookie lineup. I don't think I want to change it anytime soon. 4 Terrier, 1 Lop, 1 Terrier that memory blocks, and the 8 Searching Terriermons. Of course, the Structure Deck Terriermon's still probably your most important one to get on the stack turn 1. Helps you play your Willis for 1 next turn and flip a new egg and just start the whole cycle again. I love that this deck offers such a diverse variety of defensive and offensive options. Fire Rocket as well as Willis just helping, and Mimi helping you accelerate eggs and aggression is amazing. But then you've got your Giant Missiles, your Heaven's Judgment, your level 7 lineup, and just all of your level 5, 6s, and 4s that just help facilitate board control. D-Digivolve 1 and Protection, DP Neg, and also Blocker, and obviously Suspended, prevent stuff from Digivolving. There's so much like oppression here, to be honest, with all of these effects. If you can combine your, DP reduction with D-Digivolve, you're probably outing most ultimates and champions. And then if you can combine that with Mega Gargo Ace, if your opponent does try to attack you, you just kind of win the game. So man, I really love this deck. Obviously, people are learning how to beat it, and that's where it's getting harder to pilot, because they're realizing if they wipe out your Rapid Mons before they swing, they can prevent Mega Gargo Ace from hitting the field. That's okay. Just means we have to adapt as well, and overall should make us better players. The eggs we're playing are the same. I think we should always play 5 if we're playing Mimi Willis kind of stuff, and we are. I really like the level 6 lineup. I think like Merciful Mode is a bit of a shout, but you can probably cut it in future sets. Death X and Quartz obviously just do that job a lot better, but being able to shuffle your opponent's stuff from trash back to their deck can be quite good against purple decks and red hybrid. And there's a couple other matchups where it's very, very nice. But purple does come to mind when you think about shuffling cards from trash back into deck. In terms of matchups, round 1 today was Shine Greymon. Round 2 today was... I have forgotten... Armor was the final. So that means in round 2, I played Red Hybrid, that's right. So the Red Hybrid matchup's interesting because this Rapid Mon kind of just wins it if you get to hard play it with a green Tamer out. So I find that quite good. So yes, let's talk about the Shine matchup. So round 1 Shine, we actually drew because their high roll is really good. I happened to hit one of the 4-cost Marcus in sec as my first check on turn 2. And that pretty much steamrolled game 2 so that I lost. I did win game 1. And then game 3 we went to time and neither of us could really get to game, so it was a draw. Match 2, round 2, we are now versing Red Hybrid. Red Hybrid once again. I don't think I've lost to Red Hybrid with Rapid Mode. I'm not trying to jinx myself, but just saying Rapidmon does really good into this deck. Obviously, Red Hybrid is Red Hybrid. There are games it will just kill you on turn 3 and there's nothing you can do about it. But I do find the Rapid level 5 and the Ace card really just put them under too much pressure. And obviously their deck has to swing in. So if you put your Rapidmons on the field and they don't out them, you're going to blast. So naturally, you kind of just have a lucky matchup there most of the time because of Mega Gargo Ace. But just saying, things can still go wrong. It's not a perfect matchup. It just feels good most of the time for me. But yeah, I probably need to verse more Red Hybrid as well because the deck is definitely a good deck. One of the scarier, aggressive ones. Now, getting into the third round. Apologies. The third round was Armor. Armor, Magnamon, more specifically. There was also Raidramons in there, and I think a Flamedramon, but it's Armor. And Armor is an interesting matchup because obviously we're both Armor decks. And next set, it's going to be even more interesting with Magna X and Rapid X. But for this set, we still have to deal with Magna X Antibody, the OG one from BT10, I think it is. And we've also got to deal with other threats like the Black and Blue Magnamon. That thing keeps coming out of security and ripping my Ace card away and ending my turn. It is so sad. This Rapidmon's quite good in the matchup. It can still be DP negged by stuff like Heaven's Judgment, of course, which look out for. Heaven's Judgment in the matchup goes insane. All of your Rapids and board will be outed by Heavens, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do about it. But in terms of their armors, of course, we play the Gold Rapids, which DP neg. So the Gold Rapids really help in that matchup. You can just clean up the VMons and all of the armors on the field. It's just the X antibody that's normally a bit of an issue. I do find Merciful Mode is interesting because you can shuffle all their armors back into their deck as well, just making their numbers not so big. But it's not the biggest deal. It's just more a funny interaction. Quartzmon is still king in a lot of these matchups too. Don't forget you can just go on a Quartz sometimes after you swing once with Mega Gargo Ace and restand, then go on a Quartz for the rest of the attacks. It's quite safe. What I've found myself doing is if I've hard played this Rapid and then next turn I know I'm going to Mega Gargo Ace and that happens, or I do it on their turn, Rapid's Inheritable is too good to not use, so you normally swing into a body and restand, trashing one of your opponent's sec, and then from there, because swinging into security can be quite scary as an ace, going up to Quartz here is sensational, and you'll be able to, get that swing, trash some sec, and go even deeper. So the fact this card restands itself is just sensational and lets you just abuse even more cards, so how good is that? So yeah, I'm really a big fan of this entire deck and the lineup. The toolbox of cards we have here. In future sets, I may be cutting Fire Rocket when we get Terrier X Antibody and Rapid X. This might go to one or none because the format changes and the shift goes away from aggression and more into how do I deal with Magna X, right? Next set is just the how do I deal with Magna X dot set. And Fire Rocket doesn't really help us there, right? We actually would rather a card that gives us DP. So there might even be room to play Tigers and stuff like that. Now, some people have also mentioned that only 5 green tamers is a really low count. And they're like, why play the egg that draws you 1 when you have a green tamer if you're going to play 5 green tamers? I don't know. Like, this just feels good. Like, green tamers, to be honest, guys, are not great. Mimi's obviously pretty cracked. Henry's not great. Willis is only good if you have that Terriermon, right? Willis and this Terriermon are like a Ukomon effect for still 1 memory and 2 cards. So it's like, it's not great, but, we get by with it. Obviously, reducing cost every turn is huge, though, so we love that. But Willis isn't searchable once again. These Terriermons all bottom deck it. Double Typhoon can add it, and Agility Train can add it, but that's about it. So yes, you do have games where you just don't have the green tamers, and I'll tell you, you can still play. You still play the game fine. You normally do see 1. With 5, you normally get to at least 1, and honestly, 1's all you need, because yeah, I know this Rapid can suspend up to your green tamers. A lot of the time, you just need the 1, because your opponent will be swinging in as well, because you put them on a timer with this deck. This deck kind of says, I'm going to kill you in the next 4 to 5 turns, or like potentially if you high roll, you can kill them on like turn 3. So I don't know, I love that this deck can just have surprise aggression on like the same level as Red Hybrid almost, but obviously this deck is still just so low to the ground that it means it never really bricks. As long as you have 1 Terriermon and a Rapid, you're normally good to go, and the rest of your hand can normally back up those plays. So yeah, I don't know, man. This is one of my favorite decks ever. Terriermon and Rapidmon are some of my favorite Digimon ever, so I'm just so happy I'm able to play this deck and do well with it now, because I've been playing it for a long time and not doing so great. So it's very nice that we have some very strong cards. I understand that Mega Gargo Ace is absurd, and there's a lot of people who are a little bit upset at how strong this card is, but I'm going to be real with you, Chief. Every other Mega Gargo in the game is absolute dog water, so it's really nice to have this one that's just super oppressive. I understand it might be too oppressive, but you know what? We take those. We take those in Terriermon. Anyway, looking very forward to the next version of this deck, which will incorporate Rapid X and Terry X. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and stick around for that because I'm going to be having Terriermon profiles forever. And of course, if you've checked out the channel, you would know we do profiles for everyone who wins my locals. They do a deck profile. So if you are interested in just a variety of decks, we're going to have a variety of decks on the channel. And if you'd like to support me in any other way, you can become a channel member. I think it costs something like $1 or $1.50, and you get access to some cool Terriermon emotes. I don't know if I'll ever live stream, but if I do, you can use them. You can also use them in the comments on videos. That's about it, but thank you very much for joining, guys. It's been sensational. Terriermon, truly the best deck. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.